if one of you tries to quit on me, I'll pay a bonus of $1,000 to the man that kills him.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the worst cinematic misfires that had theatergoers running away in droves.
I'm not moving! No!
Fine.
I'm staying right here.
Good.
Either because they were too graphic, too boring, or due to something else entirely. Number 50, Kuso.
What are you doing here?
You had said you had some issues with your trans-dimensional roommates, so I wanted to make sure that was going okay.
In 2017, multi-hyphenate Flying Lotus added a new title to his resume, Director of Gross-Out Body Horror. The rapper-turned-filmmaker sought to make the most squirm-inducing movie ever, and he certainly came close.
Do you have a macaroni prolapse discharge?
What?
HID?
No. Look.
Provalepin?
Kuso is such an assault on the senses, multiple audience members left during its debut at the Sundance Film Festival. You can't really blame them either. As a post-apocalyptic splatter film, Kuso's anthology structure amps up the gore until even genre diehards will be reaching for a barf bag. It's easy to understand why an unprepared audience would not be able to make it through.
The worker ants, they'll suffocate the queen in a hot, pulsing ball.
Number 49, Babylon. Exploring the roar part of the roaring 20s, Babylon tracks Hollywood's transition from silent films to full-on audio.
You missed the silence.
No.
Although it seems like most people did not make it to the sound part. Babylon's opening act is the epitome of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, featuring enough crude content to make anyone clutch their pearls. It doesn't let up much either, and the sheer excess scared off a good chunk of moviegoers partway through. While Babylon has been reappraised for its thoughtful examination of Hollywood's history, it's clear it partied way too hard for general audiences.
Oh, Nellie, look at them. Oh, who knows what she might do? She's from Jersey, you know.
Number 48, Poor Things. Emma Stone on the big screen is an enticing enough pitch to bring almost anyone out to the multiplex.
Let us touch each other's genital pieces. No.
In this case, though, they probably should have done their research on Yorgos Lanthimos. The director is known for pushing the envelope, and Poor Things is no exception. Without divulging too much, we'll just say that Stone's character gets awfully freaky awfully fast. The unwavering stream of R-rated content was enough to send the uninitiated straight to the exit sign. At the very least, the good reactions outweighed the bad, and Stone took home her second Oscar for the role.
I have adventured it and found nothing but sugar and violence. It is most charming. I am fine.
Number 47, The Great Ecstasy of Robert Carmichael.
Well, if we come in, Mike?
Yeah, come on in.
Another day, another controversial film prompting walkouts at a film festival. This time, it's The Great Ecstasy of Robert Carmichael, whose tale of adolescent violence did not sit well at Cannes. While the movie is chock full of unsavory moments, it was a specific scene involving a girl's plight that caused the most drama. Reportedly, several members of the Cannes audience left during this part and didn't bother returning. The director defended the graphic scene in a post-screening Q&A, but that hasn't helped The Great Ecstasy of Robert Carmichael from living on in infamy. Number 46, The Woman. If we're judging horror films based on which left the most visceral impact, then this one takes the cake on principle alone. Its screening at the Sundance Film Festival left one viewer so disturbed, he went on a screaming tirade about it.
This film ought to be confiscated, burned. There's no value in showing this to anyone.
Parts of it are immortalized on film, too. In his defense, The Woman is not for the faint of heart at all. The titular unnamed lead goes through some truly unspeakable horrors, and the camera does not shy away from any of it. Although, for a scary movie, that kind of reaction is pretty effective marketing. Number 45, Straw Dogs. Sobering social critique or anti-feminist fantasy? It's an age-old debate for Straw Dogs, and unfortunately, most viewers in 1971 landed on the latter.
I suggest you get out of the way of the windows. I also suggested you turn the rest of the lights on upstairs. Do we have any wire?
I told you I won't help you.
The film's hyper-violent story is full of interesting ideas, but many found them moot given the treatment of its leading lady Amy, specifically in a scene where she's tormented by a pair of vicious men.
Get out!
Reviewers have spent actual decades deconstructing the ins and outs of Straw Dog's water cooler moment. But regardless of their verdict, viewers at the time were having none of it, and said as much by leaving before the credits.
This is where I live. This is me. I will not allow violence against this house.
Number 44, Taxi Driver. Even one of the greatest films ever made isn't safe from audience backlash. As anyone who's seen Taxi Driver knows, it's not exactly a peaceful movie, especially in the climactic shootout. Ironically, the excessive carnage it's known for today is precisely why Taxi Driver got booed at the Cannes Film Festival. You heard that right. Taxi Driver. Booed.
You talking to me? Well, then who the hell else are you talking to? Talking to me?
Evidently, critics were not happy about the film's explicit nature, and many of them voiced that by outright leaving the screening. They were clearly missing out, though, and anyone who stayed was treated to one of cinema's greatest crime dramas.
God, are you square? Hey, I'm not square. You're the one that's square. You're full of man.
Number 43, The Lion King.
You are my son.
Disney movies are as innocent as it gets, right? Well, that's what most parents in the 90s thought, at least. They gathered their kids, bought tickets, and strolled into the theater expecting fun for the whole family. What they got instead was a soul-crushing death scene as Mufasa falls into the stampede.
Long live the king.
Allegedly, some parents found The Lion King's tragic twist too dark for their children and left mid-screening.
You gotta get up. Dad. We gotta go home.
They didn't even make it to Hakuna Matata. We can't fault them too much, though. Mufasa's death definitely traumatized us all as children.
See, he admits it. Murder.
Number 42, Under the Skin. Artistic and thought-provoking are not always the same as crowd-pleasing. It's the curse of Hollywood, and Under the Skin is one of the biggest victims. On the one hand, you had critics hailing its mysterious sci-fi narrative as gripping and poetic. On the other, you had some viewers literally walking out halfway through because it was so slow.
What's that?
Hey, I just talked to him, my name.
Of your name?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Andy.
Andy, hi.
Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Under the Skin is definitely an acquired taste, and despite Scarlett Johansson's outstanding leading performance, the script proved too heady for general audiences. It's a shame because if you like real existential sci-fi, Under the Skin is the best there is. Number 41, The Wild Bunch.
Wouldn't do anything to say, Miss Jackson, but we sure would appreciate a little liquor money for tonight.
There won't be any tonight. You go after them in 10 minutes. Get them. Get Pike and you'll be rich.
In the midst of the Vietnam War and considerable political unrest, a gunslinging crime western probably wasn't the escapism people were looking for. But the Wild Bunch persisted, refusing to flinch away from the high-octane action, controversy be damned. And boy, was there controversy.
You know damn well I shot this one. Look at the size of that hole. You just dig out that bullet and see if it ain't my odd six.
Several found the movie's abundant use of force to be in poor taste. Apparently, a group of nuns didn't even make it past the opening scene before calling it quits. Don't feel bad for the Wild Bunch, though. It's nice and cozy in its place among the best westerns ever made.
Nothing but you egg-sucking, chicken-stealing gutter trash with not even 60 rounds between.
Number 40, Alien. The legendary chest-burster scene is etched into the brains of moviegoers for a reason. It's just that scary.
What's the matter? The food ain't that bad, baby.
What's wrong?
Back in the late 70s, it may have even been too scary. A few reports claim that certain viewers were so disturbed by the baby xenomorph, they became physically ill and had to leave the showing. We certainly believe it. Even compared to modern films, the practical effects in this alien scene remain second to none. That is one of the many reasons it is oh so satisfying to see Ripley send them all to a galaxy far, far away. Number 39, Who Am I to You? At a time when grisly stories dominated Indian cinema, this movie delivered the exact opposite, a musical rom-com. While the movie would go on to become a record-shattering staple of Indian filmmaking, initial audiences were taken aback by the bubbly tone. With a runtime over 3 hours long, Who Am I to You wasn't exactly a low-commitment option either. After learning some viewers were tapping out early, they removed 2 songs to tighten the pace. When the film became a phenomenon, they were added back in, ensuring everyone got to experience the full soundtrack in all its glory. Number 38, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
They take the head and they boil it, except for the tongue. And they scrape all the flesh away from the bone.
The first time Leatherface revved up on the big screen elicited every kind of negative reaction imaginable. People were crying, screaming, getting sick, and yes, even leaving the theater in utter terror. There's really no way to overstate how intense the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was at the time.
He don't like it, ain't that right? You're just a cook. Shut your mouth.
It was marketed as being based on a true story and nearly released with an X rating. In fact, it barely saw a wide release at all, with censors and even full countries banning it left and right. Given the strong reactions, they may have had the right idea. Number 37, Inherent Vice.
What would a nice, clean girl like me do with you?
You could bring your soap and clean my feet.
Most people who show up for a Paul Thomas Anderson film know what they're getting themselves into. But when even cinephiles found this one too dense, it was clear casuals never stood a chance. Inherent Vice is an ambitious, complicated film that dances between so many stories and tones, it's not always clear what you're supposed to be feeling.
Dr. Rudy, I'm back.
You're not Dr. Rudy.
You're not Dr. Rudy.
It makes you wonder if its heaps of critical acclaim were worth alienating mainstream moviegoers, who were frequently confused and ended up bailing. Maybe if Inherent Vice had played to that audience a bit more, it wouldn't have wound up a box office bomb.
Listen, I'm sorry about last night. You? Why should you be sorry? Weird.
Number 36, The Human Centipede First Sequence.
We start with cutting the ligamentum patellae, the ligaments of the kneecaps.
Forget audiences. This movie is so grotesque, actresses were walking out of the audition room. If that's how gross it read on the page, you can only imagine the gut-wrenching reactions once it was actually filmed. Well, it is called The Human Centipede. You can probably guess how things went.
2 pedicellulose grafts are prepared and lifted from the underlying tissue.
The film's crazy premise attracted a lot of media attention, but when those people showed up in theaters, they had to immediately leave or risk losing their lunch. Most artists would be devastated by that news, but something tells us that is exactly what The Human Centipede was going for.
Yeah! I did it!
Number 35, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Let her go, Molaram. You are in a position unsuitable to give orders.
Torture, face melting, and human sacrifice. No, this is not a horror film. It's an Indiana Jones movie, and somehow it was only rated PG. Parents thought it was safe for all ages, and made it all the way to the theater before realizing their mistake.
It's a thuggy ceremony. They're worshiping Kali.
The early departures and overall backlash was so intense, director Steven Spielberg was forced to address it, and so was the movie business as a whole. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is one of several films credited with ushering in the PG-13 rating, in hopes parents would not be surprised like this again.
We are her children. We pledge our devotion to her with an offering of flesh.
Number 34, Reservoir Dogs.
Baby, you keep talking like a I'm gonna slap you like a
Come on, man! Enough of that shit!
Warning, this movie is not for those with squeamish stomachs. These thieves trade in the currency of violence, profanity, and even more violence. The film makes sure you know it, too.
You ever listen to K. Billy's Super Sounds of the 70s?
Even though Reservoir Dogs received raves from those who did manage to sit through it, the high body count reportedly scared off a lot of seated viewers. Not just everyday moviegoers either. Even the iconic horror director Wes Craven had to step out for some air.
Can't we pick our own colors?
No way, no way. Tried it once, it doesn't work. You get 4 guys all fighting over who's gonna be Mr. Black.
Yeah, this one is just something else. It's a tough film to watch even today, so we can only imagine what it was like in the 90s. Number 33, Wild at Heart. Test screenings may very well have saved this movie. By director David Lynch's recollection, a torture scene in the film caused about 80 people to walk out of an early cut. Lynch stuck to his guns and kept it in the film for the second test screening, only for another 100 to run off. The 1-2 punch finally convinced him to give the scene another pass in the editing room.
Reggie! Show him
While Wild at Heart's sexual content and blunt brutality still drew plenty of ire, the theatrical version at least didn't have people running for the doors. It's the little things that count.
Oh God, Sailor. That's the night my sweet daddy died.
I know, sugar.
Number 32, Cats.
Judge a cat by its soul.
He's got soul.
I've got plenty of soul.
This musical adaptation is an odd one. It's not overly graphic, lewd, distasteful, or anything like that. It's just bad.
I'm a 25-pounder, or I am a bounder, and I'm putting on weight every day!
Not even in a so bad it's good way either. No, 2019's Cats is just unwatchably bad full stop. The movie was a total dumpster fire at the box office, and those who did show up were thrown off by the horrible performances and indefensible special effects.
The feel of the fan.
Jennifer Hudson's rendition of Memory is a high point, but data suggests there weren't many people left in the theater to see it. For our money, just check out the stage production instead. Number 31, Terrifier 2. It takes a lot for an independent movie to break into the mainstream, and Terrifier 2 did it with pure, unfiltered bloodlust, also known as Art the Clown. His big screen rampage turned even the biggest horror buffs into quivering scaredy cats. But honestly, those who walked out were lucky. The poor chaps who stayed risked fainting or getting sick.
Sir, if you're gonna put that in your mouth, you gotta pay for it.
Purportedly, emergency services were even called for one screening. While no one expected a movie called Terrifier 2 to be sunshine and butterflies, it really should have come with a disclaimer. Watch at your own risk. Number 30, Joker Folie à Deux.
Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. Better chase all your cares away. Sing hallelujah, come on, get happy.
Many sequels don't achieve the same success as the first installment, either at the box office or with critics and audiences. But this follow-up to 2019's hit Joker received a backlash beyond just being a disappointing sequel. Many ticket buyers didn't know that the film is a musical, and they were not happy when they found out.
So you're saying it's not about us?
It is, but we're singing for them. That's why we're here, honey.
Oh. Because I got the sneaking suspicion that we're not giving the people what they want.
Even people who enjoy musicals were frustrated by the execution of the numbers. Folie à Deux's attempts to subvert and deconstruct typical comic book tropes also angered fans of the original Joker. It proved too much for many in the audience.
But if you stay, I'll make you a day like no day has been.
Number 29, Crimes of the Future.
So, darling, can you wake up?
Who's here?
It's just me. It's Caprice. Did you sleep?
I think this bed needs new software.
Directed by David Cronenberg, this sci-fi horror film got a polarizing reception when it premiered at Cannes. Earning both mass departures and a 7-minute standing ovation, the film is set in a future in which human biology has drastically changed. Performance artist Saul Tenser has the ability to grow new organs, and he and his partner Caprice do a stage routine that includes surgically removing the organs.
Our records indicate that you've been producing random and novel bodily organs for some years, but that you've had them consistently removed.
Who wouldn't?
You'd be surprised.
You would be surprised. They are basically tumors, right? Who would want to keep them?
It only gets weirder from there, with Tenser's ability becoming a point of arousal for some characters. Let's just leave it at that. Suffice it to say, this dark satire on cosmetic surgery is hard to stomach. No pun intended.
The woman, Timlin, she's especially creepy.
I thought she was rather attractive. In a bureaucratic way.
Number 28, L'Avventura. Time has been kind to this drama directed by Michelangelo Antonioni, which has become a critical darling and one of the most influential art house films. However, at the time, it received outright boos at Cannes. The film follows Anna and her friend's trip to Rome to meet her boyfriend Sandro. When Anna mysteriously disappears, Sandro and her friend Claudia investigate. No doubt, the film's slow pacing and lack of adherence to cinematic conventions divided early audiences. The movie's ending also led to disappointment. Still, L'Avventura consistently ranks high on best film lists, including Sight and Sound's top 10 greatest films ever made. Number 27, Blue is the warmest color.
What's that? Alors? T'aimes bien? Honnêtement? Tu veux pas te vexer? Bah non, vas-y. Je trouve ça un peu dégueu.
This controversial coming-of-age love story had not only many in the audience leaving, but also scandals breaking. Based on a graphic novel, the film follows introverted high schooler Adele as she falls in love with aspiring painter Emma, and the couple's ups, downs, and eventual breakup.
En fait, Sartre pose comme principe que l'existence précède l'essence. C'est-à-dire qu'en fait, on est au monde, on existe, et c'est qu'ensuite qu'on se définit par ses actes. En fait, ça nous donne une grande responsabilité.
Mais je crois que j'ai lu. Même d'ailleurs, je l'ai lu en fait.
Ah ouais?
Ouais, mais j'ai rien compris.
The long, intimate scenes, however, caused major controversy, and not just for their explicitness. Lesbian audiences were reported laughing at the unrealistic scenes, feeling they bordered on the ridiculous. The author of the graphic novel, Jules Marot, also disapproved, calling the love scenes, quote, brutal and cold. The film went on to win the Palme d'Or, and it has many fans, but the controversy still continues.
Je sais pas pourquoi il a un problème avec moi, il a un truc avec les lesbiennes, qu'est-ce que tu veux que je te dise? Moi, je veux bien expliquer mes toiles, je veux bien raconter pourquoi, comment, qu'est-ce qui m'inspire, mais je veux pas commencer à rentrer dans les détails de choses intimes, quoi. Et moi, j'ai pas à me justifier de qui je suis et il y a des choses que j'ai pas envie de lui dire aussi, tu vois.
Number 26, Baskin.
Ama böyle bir hatun yok oğlum. Görmemişsindir yani. Ne diyeyim ben sana biliyor musun? Neydi lan bu Victoria's Secret mi bir şey vardı ya?
Victoria's Secret manken.
Öyle kadın abi. Bulamazsın. Yok yani. Neyse abi aldım ben bunu gidiyoruz.
Sen aldın bunu gidiyorsun.
Abi.
Nasıl aldın?
Nasıl alacağım ya?
Victoria's Secret diyorsun ya Allah.
Maslak'tan iyi Victoria's Secret man.
5 police officers answer a call to an abandoned building. It's a simple premise that belies the real ordeal of watching this Turkish film. Directed by Can Evrenol, Baskin takes body horror to its limits, including gnarled hands, squishy intestines, and meat on hooks. Lots of it. We won't go into any further detail.
Lan abi, neye çarptık biz?
Çarptık oğlum çarptık üstünden geçtik adamın. Çarptık takırdık.
Emin misin oğlum?
Ya ne emin misin ya?
Lan oğlum nerede hani?
Suffice it to say, the extreme gore prompted a big chunk of the audience to flee, from its uncomfortable prologue to its final twist. The audience exodus didn't hurt the film's home box office ultimately, but for those with weak stomachs, there's a good reason to stay away.
Sesimi duyan var mı? Kimse var mı? Alo! İçeride kimse var mı? Kime diyoruz lan?
Number 25, The Brown Bunny.
Bunny looks so small still.
She's had that bunny rabbit a long time. That's the cutest bunny. Where do you live now?
I live in Los Angeles. Daisy and I live together in Los Angeles. We have a small house.
Directed by and starring Vincent Gallo, this film about a motorcycle racer on a cross-country trip premiered at Cannes to a lot of jeering. The film overall received mixed reviews and outright pans. Why the fuss? There is an explicit sex scene performed by actress Chloe Sevigny on Gallo that was controversial, as it appeared to be completely unsimulated.
Hi, bud. I got your note.
have to use the bathroom.
There was also a very public feud between Gallo and critic Roger Ebert. Ebert panned the movie as the worst that ever premiered at Cannes, and Gallo responded with insults. Since then, The Brown Bunny has gained a bit of a cult following. Even Ebert revised his opinion when he saw the re-edit. All's well that ends well.
Can I hug you, bud? Can I sit on your lap? Can I touch you?
Number 24, The Neon Demon.
What about you?
What about me?
Are you food? Or are you sex?
She's dessert.
A 16-year-old aspiring fashion model gets her big break in LA, only to get sucked into a nightmarish situation rife with abuse and even murder. Directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, this satire of the beauty and fashion industry proved to be a mixed bag for audiences.
You're still here. How did it go?
It went good.
It was great, actually. Did he say anything?
My agency said if the pictures turned out good, he might consider them for an editorial.
The film premiered to an overwhelmingly negative reception at Cannes, with boos, walkouts, and even outright yelling at the screen. Some critics also felt the blend of social commentary and supernatural horror did not gel as well as it should. Either way, it proved too much to bear for a lot of people.
Sarno doesn't let just anyone walk his collection.
I don't think I'm his type.
Why not? You're very masculine. I bet they made you do the casting. I didn't have to. I just come in and choose what I want to wear.
Number 23, Crash.
You recognize her? That's Gabrielle. You saw right outside the door there.
No, not that one. The other Crash. Another entry from provocateur director David Cronenberg. This Canadian erotic film follows a couple in an open marriage who are aroused by recounting their extramarital encounters. This culminates in husband James having an affair with car crash victim Helen and developing a unique fetish for car wrecks in general.
You had sex with all those men in cars? Only in cars?
Yes, I didn't plan it that way.
You have to see it to believe it. Indeed, those who saw it could not believe it, storming out of the theater. The graphic sex scenes were undoubtedly part of the reason, but perhaps Cronenberg's clinical direction was also alienating. Your mileage may vary, no pun intended.
I'm sure we see this again in slow motion. Closer, I mean. In detail.
We can watch another tape. You brought lots of tapes.
No.
Tons.
I know this tape. I know this tape.
Number 22, a Serbian film.
Treba od nečeg da nas zaštite. O čemu se radi?
Prekini da sereš. Pijan si, skoro impotentan, a postaješ I glup.
Pa možda sam glup, ali nisam naivan.
This is an exploitation horror film to end all exploitation horror films. Aging adult film star Milos agrees to a starring role in an art house film, but he soon discovers the film has horrific themes, which include drugs and shocking violations of a physical and sexual nature. A Serbian film's transgressive imagery was so difficult to watch that it was banned in several countries. Some critics even consider it the most disturbing movie ever made. The film's director defended the film as a political allegory, but one thing's for sure, it's an allegory that will haunt anyone who sees it. Number 21, The House That Jack Built.
Just so damn humiliating. You know, being forced to stand out there, exposed, time and time again, have to be put in these situations. I don't know why.
Directed by Lars von Trier, this horror film about a serial killer named Jack premiered at Cannes to massive outrage and controversy. It follows Jack on a journey through hell, during which he recounts his years of disgusting deeds. There is the killing of human beings, which is hard to stomach as it is. The scene depicting animal cruelty triggered a storm of consternation as well.
You're not just gonna leave me here?
In fact, yes, that is kind of what I was thinking. I'm sure there'll be another serial killer passing by who can give you a lift back to Sonny's. That is, unless he decides to kill you first.
Riley Keough's character's mutilation also led to several audience members departing. The ending was satisfying for some of those who stayed, but cold comfort for others. Hit the road, Jack.
You call that screaming?
Help! Help! Help! Yes! Help! There's a murderer in the building! It's Mr. Sophistication!
Number 20, Caligula.
If they were good men, how could their beloved emperor find them guilty?
Do the words erotic historical drama get you excited? No? Unfortunately for this film, its strange concept was not the only thing it had working against it.
They were appalled.
I do hope so.
In spite of featuring performances from Malcolm McDowell, Helen Mirren, and Peter O'Toole, a part for which he was praised, the film was heavily criticized for its violence and for featuring unsimulated sex throughout. If you're wondering who specifically walked out of this one, the answer is Roger Ebert himself, who described the film as, quote, sickening, utterly worthless, shameful trash. Although considered a cult classic by some, the film is still divisive to this day.
Let them hate me, so long as they fear me.
Number 19, Fight Club.
The first rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club.
If Fight Club is anything, it's provocative. It bizarrely manages to strike a balance between pavement-level grounded and borderline absurd, all while deftly telling the story of a man who's been pushed over the edge of societal norms to break with reality.
What are we doing tonight?
Tonight, we make soap.
A movie like that's pretty weird, and needless to say, not everyone got it. As if that wasn't bizarre enough, the scenes of raw, animalistic violence and something about getting covered in human fat were enough to push people over the edge. Fight Club's awesome. It's just not for everyone.
Things you own end up owning you.
Number 18, The Revenant. Leo worked hard for his Oscar, and Alejandro G. Iñárritu is a genius, but The Revenant is pretty much just 2.5 hours of a guy trying not to die. It's a harrowing journey that explores the limits of a man and how far he'll go to not only survive, but also to take revenge. It has a couple of scenes that are hard to watch, but the real kicker is the bear attack scene, which, like the rest of the film, strives for realism in the most gut-wrenching fashion possible. For some, watching a bear rip into Leonardo DiCaprio was just too much. Number 17, The Walk.
Why? That is the question people ask me most.
In 1974, Philippe Petit performed the daring feat of walking on a high wire between the two towers of the World Trade Center. The 2015 film The Walk tried to capture this feat, and to do so, shot the film in IMAX 3D.
All right, you get him. I got your back.
Okay.
The cinematography expertly captured the sensation of tightrope walking a quarter mile above the ground, which, while impressive, is not what some audience members were expecting. Those who were not wholly comfortable with heights found the movie to be a tough watch, with many reporting motion sickness as the feat was performed.
I'm going to hang a high wire between the two towers of the World Trade Center and walk on it.
Number 16, The Tree of Life.
Tell us a story from before we can remember.
At the 2011 Cannes Film Festival, The Tree of Life was met with both boos and applause, and went on to win the festival's illustrious Palme d'Or award. Needless to say, critics were divided. As were audiences. One of the film's stars, Sean Penn, stated that he did not find the same beauty and emotion in the final film as he did in the script. in no small part thanks to the film's convoluted narrative. While ambitious, and by some accounts a masterpiece, many audience members just wanted a movie they could sit down with some popcorn and enjoy.
It could be better.
Number 15, The Passion of the Christ. In telling the story of Jesus dying for the sins of humanity, The Passion of the Christ is understandably brutal. Mel Gibson's desire to bring to life the suffering endured by Christ was off-putting to some audiences, as it spares no details with the lashing, the beating, the crown of thorns, and the crucifixion itself. One woman actually experienced a fatal heart attack while watching the climactic scene of the film. Needless to say, if you were looking for something to complement your Sunday school lesson, this might not be it. Number 14, A Clockwork Orange.
For now it was lovely music that came to my aid.
Back in 1971, audiences were not ready for the maniacal breed of ultraviolence that Alex and his droogs offered up in Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange. If it wasn't the savage beating, the vicious fights or assaults, audiences were severely put off by the stylization that some critics might argue glamorizes such violence. Those who stayed to watch the end of the film were rewarded with a discussion of free will and humanity's baser instincts in a modern society, but it was understandably a little much for some.
I've learned my lesson, sir. I see now what I've never seen before. I'm cured. Praise God.
Number 13, Pink Flamingos.
I'm the filthiest person alive. That's who I am.
John Waters created Pink Flamingos as his first entry into his trash trilogy. With the tagline, an exercise in poor taste, this now cult film was an ode to the counterculture of its day, and made a deliberate effort to push its audience as far as it could.
We might be in the mood for a barbecue. Get what I mean? A human barbecue.
The film focuses on a drag queen known as, quote, the filthiest person alive.
We'll see who's the filthiest person alive. We'll just see!
If the nudity and profanity wasn't enough to throw an audience's day off, those who stayed to the end got to see the main character eating, well, you'll actually have to see that for yourself.
Filth are my politics. Filth is my life.
Number 12, Swiss Army Man.
This is you. This is your body.
The response to Swiss Army Man at the 2016 Sundance Film Festival was sort of a two-part process. At first, screenings of the surrealist comedy had to turn audiences away from packed viewing rooms. That is, until the film actually started. Then, it became more of a challenge to keep audiences in their seats, as many decided that a film starring Daniel Radcliffe of Harry Potter fame as a farting corpse was just too much for them to handle. To be fair, there has also been positive critical appraisal of Swiss Army Man, but that mattered little to audience members who preferred to hit the bricks.
Okay, buddy.
Number 11, Antichrist.
There is nothing atypical about you, Brie.
Lars von Trier is no stranger to cinematic controversy, and the art house horror flick Antichrist is one such example. Why he decided scenes where both Willem Dafoe and Charlotte Gainsbourg have their nether regions altered in particularly gruesome fashion were absolutely necessary is anyone's guess. Audiences and critics varied between obsession and repulsion at the end results of von Trier's work, with many screenings of the film being notable for members of the audience just not being able to handle the horror Antichrist set on screen.
Apparently not.
Number 10, 127 Hours. 127 Hours was a biopic from Oscar-winning director Danny Boyle about canyoneer Aaron Ralston, who became headline news for a harrowing situation that left him trapped for days between a rock and a hard place. The film came to a head during a pivotal scene where Ralston, played by James Franco, is forced to amputate his arm in order to free himself from a huge boulder.
This rock has been waiting for me my entire life.
The scene is extremely graphic and sent many audience members into a panic, with some theaters reporting vomiting and fainting. This is something you might expect from a horror film, but maybe not so much from a film that was marketed as, quote, a triumphant true story.
You have a phone? Yes, but no signal. You should stop and rest.
Number 9. Raw. The French-Belgian horror film Raw raised eyebrows with its realistic and disturbing portrayal of on-screen cannibalism. The film describes the descent into madness of a vegetarian college student who is hazed and forced into eating raw rabbit. It's after this traumatic incident that she develops a taste for violence and human flesh, and it's these scenes that reportedly sent audiences into physical panic, with some becoming ill in the theater, passing out, or otherwise running the hell away from what was clearly a successfully horrific film.
Y'a rien d'autre qui t'intéressait sur le menu? J'espère qu'il était bon, moi.
Number 8. Pulp Fiction.
You know what they call a quarter pound of a cheese in France? No. Tell him, Vincent.
Royale with cheese.
Today, fans of Quentin Tarantino have grown to expect and appreciate the filmmaker's relationship with on-screen violence. This wasn't exactly the case back in the early 90s, as evidenced by the powerful response to one of Tarantino's early features, Pulp Fiction. Some audiences, perhaps unused to Tarantino's stylized vision and emphatic violence, ended up walking out of theaters in protest.
You will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
The film was even booed at the 1994 Cannes Film Festival by audiences who felt that it wasn't deserving of the Palme d'Or, the festival's highest honor. Number 7. Irréversible. Gaspard Noé is like many other directors on this list, in that he's unafraid of exploring even the most disturbing of subject matters within his search for artistic expression. Case in point, the brutal and unflinching assault scene in Noé's 2002 film Irréversible, which had audiences around the world walking out of screenings. The film, which is also full of physical violence and offensive language, even reportedly featured the presence of infrasound, a lowered frequency that is said to subconsciously induce fear, tension, and nausea. All of these aspects make Noé's Irréversible a film that definitely is not for the squeamish. Number 6. Freaks.
You'll have to hurry. We haven't much time.
Featuring circus performers with real deformities, this pre-code film from the 30s was originally 90 minutes long, but the studio viewed the film as too shocking to be released.
Oh, gee. Ain't it cute? What is it?
A girl.
Oh, boy, that's great, and it's going to have a beard.
If you're hoping we're gonna have some juicy footage from the extended cut here, sorry, that footage is by all accounts gone forever. In spite of the extensive cuts, some audience members were still unable to stomach the content. Sure, by today's standards, it may not seem like it's that big of a deal, but in 1932, you can rest assured this film caused quite the stir.
Why should they laugh at you?
Most big people do. They don't realize I'm a man with the same feelings they have.
Number 5. Saving Private Ryan.
Keep those actions clear. I'll see you on the beach.
Saving Private Ryan is now regarded as one of the greatest war films of all time due to its harrowing depiction of the realities of World War II. The opening scene of soldiers landing on Omaha Beach was so visceral and anxiety-inducing, it overwhelmed some viewers to the point of walking out of the cinema, particularly veterans. These scenes were so striking, they actually caused a PTSD hotline to become overwhelmed with calls. Whereas so many films in this genre strived for technical and cinematic achievement, Saving Private Ryan was entirely focused on portraying the horrors of war, and it's this realism that left some viewers in a deep state of trauma and grief.
70 years.
70 years. And
that's the first time I talked about it.
Okay, to your family,
it was too hard, and I didn't want to bring it home to my family.
Number 4. Mother.
Nonsense. No, it's late. Stay the night.
No, I couldn't.
Please, we'd enjoy the company, right?
Yes, of course.
Mother was destined to be divisive, although perhaps neither director Darren Aronofsky nor star Jennifer Lawrence could have predicted exactly how split audiences would be on the film. Although some fans and critics lauded Mother as a challenging yet bold triumph, other screenings of the film were marred by walkouts and complaints.
Stop!
Some audience members even went so far as to demand refunds for their unpleasant experience, a move which perhaps mirrors Aronofsky's desire to provoke better than any actual scene in the finished product.
Do you hear that? That is the sound of life. That is the sound of humanity.
Number 3. Cloverfield.
Still filming? Yeah. People are gonna want to know how it all went down.
There are are many different reasons why people walk out of movies, some of which have absolutely nothing to do with the film's content. Take Cloverfield, for example, a throwback to old-school monster movies with a very modern twist. The found footage shooting style.
I don't know, something else. Also terrible.
Many audience members were actually enjoying Cloverfield during its big-time box office opening back in 2008, but still found themselves searching for the door before the film's destructive climax. This was due to the often shaky and jarring camera work that comes part and parcel with the found footage style, an approach that left many moviegoers physically ill and nauseous.
Is this thing on?
Look out!
Babe, it's on my camera. I don't know if it's the on button or the zoom button.
Number 2. The Blair Witch Project.
This was a very long day. A very wet, very long day.
The Blair Witch Project had the perfect amount of parameters to make it successful. First off, the film's viral marketing gave it a massive groundswell of hype before it even hit screens in 1999. Once audiences did catch a glimpse of the Blair Witch Project, however, it made national news again, this time for reports of audiences walking out of the theater or becoming physically ill.
Oh my God, what the f*** dude? What the f*** is that?
Many audiences weren't used to the found footage style of filmmaking back in the late 90s, or the dizzying effect it can have, not to mention the fact that many fans were also scared witless by the film's overall execution. So call this one a win-win.
That's your motivation!
Please stop.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Exorcist.
How long are you planning to stay in Reagan?
Until she rots and lies stinking in the earth.
We come now to the granddaddy of them all, the massive horror hit that sent audiences screaming and into a panic back in 1973. Audiences around the world cried, fainted, screamed, and ran out of theaters that were screening director William Friedkin's satanic classic, with some proclaiming the film to just be pure evil.
There's something there, please help her.
Maybe it's the combination of The Exorcist's amazing special effects, music, and cinematography, or perhaps the occult themes and religious allegory contained within the film make it so scary. Whatever the reason, The Exorcist absolutely terrified audiences, and remains a startling example of the power of film.
The Lord be with you, and also with you.
Which controversial film had you running from the theater? Let us know in the comments down below.